Hey data fans, Reed here. Today I'm going to continue along the series that I've had where I walk you through one of these interactive guides that I've built that helps to explain some topics that are related to Power BI or Fabric. Now, last time what I did on one of these was walk you through field parameters versus calculation groups as part of a series that I'm doing on dynamic reporting. Now, in this video, what I want to walk through is talking about visual and report specific measures. So various DAX measures that you can write that pretty much only apply to a particular report rather than necessarily an upstream core model or composite model. So this will walk you through some of those, how to understand how to write them, and even what are some of the options available as part of the art of possible. So with that being said, let's hop into the guide and get started. So to start with, I want to mention that I have a new landing page for all of the guides that both myself and Steve Campbell will be building into the future. If you come up to community, there will be a new section for info guides. That will be essentially a collection of all the pages that we have based off of whether or not they're standalone or part of a series and links to those corresponding pages. So far, I built two of them. Earlier this year, or better said, the end of last year, I did one on field parameters versus calculation groups, and now I have one on visual and report specific measures. I also have some placeholders in here for some model architecture of some planned ones that I have in the future, which will be some report scoped objects as well and some composite modeling objects. But for now, we're going to start with, in this case, for this video, going through the visual and report specific measures that I have. So I'm going to click this to go to read guide, and let's now walk through this. So my goal for this one is really, what other ways that you can use a measure that's really meant to be kept in a downstream report rather than a composite model or the core model that's a little bit further upstream. And some of you may or may not be familiar with these or some of the versatile ways you can leverage DAX. So scrolling down and starting from the idea of the concept and separating business logic from presentation logic and really seeing what the business needs to know versus how the report presents information. So that's kind of the modeling layer versus report specific layer. Now, at a high level, that's the concept, and I kind of like to think of these as landing a plane. So coming down a little bit further in here, let's look at some of the types of report specific measures that can exist. So to start with, a common one that I think is a great example is dynamic titles or subtitles. Now, each one of these will give you some DAX references of things that are used for these. Now, they're not all inclusive, but the goal is to give you an idea of what you can write for this stuff. So in this case, here's a chart title that can essentially return the category or all categories with the sales amount and even the date, and allow for some type of an output to show with that, depending on what you want to concatenate together for a title. Similarly, over here, another common pattern that I think we see is conditional formatting measures. Now, these are great because these allow for reusable patterns in and between visuals. So what I'm saying in this case is that generally per visual, you can go and set conditional formatting manually, but if you need to change the color and you've done this for 13 visuals, you have to change the color 13 times. Now, this one parks the color format and also the color code, hex or RGB, inside of the measure. So if you change this at any point in the future, that would then change in all of the visuals that leverage this if you're using a measure-driven formatting rather than built into the visual itself. So it allows for easier updates in the future. And continuing on and scrolling down a little bit, another couple of examples here are SVG image measures. So these can return SVG images. For sake of simplicity on the card, this has concatenated down and restricted the SVG to just a series of content that's basically implied in between the ellipses right there. But normally you return some type of a data image string. People like NJ Park, Kurt Bueller, and a few others have done a lot of really good articles, Kerry Kolosko, on many of the ways that you can do this creatively. And I'll link you to any of their websites here down below in the description as well, if you want to check out some of the stuff to do some of the SVG measures. They do better than I do on that, but it's things that allow you to produce a visual rendering an SVG built into a native table or matrix visual. So a very really useful way to expand those to be more visual heavy rather than just text and numbers. Now, moving over a little bit as well to visual specific filter measures. Now, this is when you can do some type of a dynamic top end filter, commonly actually ways to create binary flags to maybe use with field parameters, but something where it's a filter that you'll usually toggle to equaling 1 or equaling 0, and having something where you're going to use this to filter a specific visual in a way that is using the measure logic to do a complex filter to dynamically change the visual or slicer in a way that you want it. So commonly will, as I mentioned, return usually true or false to filter a visual without affecting the report elements on the page. Continuing down and scrolling a little bit further, display string measures. So this is when you often on a lot of the cards that you have in some of those new card visuals where you want to have a string that's both a value in this case and maybe a percentage variance that can be returned here to produce something that goes more into a KPI card or some other type of custom card where you want a series of values, not just a single one being returned from the model. So you've strung together any amount of formatting and special characters, sometimes even emojis, but another useful way to be able to, again, have some type of a dynamic report measure that's used to enhance visualization or card. Last but not least, I'll also say for tooltip or accessibility measures, similar concept that you have for the display string, sometimes used for tooltips. Now, the one that I'll mention in here that's unique to this card is the alt text for accessibility. I think this is commonly skipped over by a lot of individuals when they're developing reports, but the alt text is really useful for the keyboard activated screen readers and other stuff like that for differently abled individuals who are looking at it. So if you've not used them yet, in any visual, if you go down to the alt text, there is the little FFX button that's next to there that allows you to put a measure where you can do a dynamic string of sentences to provide some helper text that might even have the date, anything related to the values that were sales or other numbers that can change. So it's a great way to enhance that for accessibility needs. Continuing to scroll down a little bit. So the question also is, why do split these from the model itself? Now, there's a few, I think, benefits that come from that. Number one being it provides a cleaner fields list. So the model is less colored, there's less junk, so to speak, and hyper-specific things that's designed for individual visuals or reports that don't make sense to have in an upstream environment. It also helps you to avoid confusion because you're not getting cluttered by searching for the measures. The IntelliSense that people are doing self-service reporting is not going to show any of these custom fields or measures that you're producing. Easier for maintenance as well, if there's going to be less bloat in a main model that's being managed by a core team. As I just mentioned, the self-service friendliness. So between browsing the fields list, using IntelliSense with creating measures, all of that is simplified if you don't have those extra measures to junk up the main model. And report portability. So central reports will get their own visual logic while the semantic model will stay clean and reusable across essentially all of the connected reports and composite models that are pointing to it. Now, a few organization strategies that I'll mention for this on the topic of measures. So display folders, I think, is a really good one. So that when you're creating these, often I will usually have a special folder for the kind of formatting measures. It can be report measures. It can be like MISC or miscellaneous, and then separate them into titles, formatting, or SVG. So just have some type of display folder organization for your measures. And naming conventions as well, and if you are going to use color, titling, SVG, have that in the name. Whether or not you choose spacing or underscores is up to you. Most of the time, these are going to be hidden or not very often used anyways for self-service reporting, but it will further help you to identify and search for them as you're using these. And as I already implied, hiding these in the report view, generally speaking, even hidden measures will still show up when you use the conditional format button in other places, but it keeps it out of the self-service view if anybody else was going to add, edit, or modify your report, and keeps that field list nice and clean. Now, also a few pro tips as well to go through on this. So as I mentioned, or maybe didn't mention, but I will now, dedicated measures table with the folders is going to be very good to have. Test the SVG in a card first. So if you're going to use it in a table, in case there's any performance issues or anything else, you can consider testing it in like the HTML card visual that's made by Daniel Marsh-Patrick or a few others. But because of the complexity of the code sometimes with that, give it a bit of testing before you do anything else. Document your naming convention somewhere in the file. I often will usually use actually some of the DAX query views to have a notes page in the PBIX or PBIP file, but just make sure you've written down the documentation and structure that you have for any of the measures that you're using in there. Also, avoiding hard-coded colors. Again, using conditional formatting measures to apply colors rather than hard-coding them visual by visual will go a long way to allowing for portability and reusability without having to change something 35 times if you have a color theme that ever changes in the future. Format strings, if you can, keep them simple. The format function is pretty expensive because it's a cast. From a SQL perspective, it's converting one type to another. So using them on tables and others can have a performance cost. So be careful sometimes if you're creating strings together or using that format function, because it does have a cost with the measures. And Unicar can be really good for line breaks as well. There is a Unicar 10, which will allow for line breaks in tooltips or others, which gives that formatting if you're trying to have a measure return with any carriage returns, which is really nice. So one thing to kind of consider if you are doing long concatenated strings. Moving down to this, also a common gotchas that I think will be good to mention. So you have to make sure if you're doing SVGs to set it as an image category type for the measure or the column that it's going to be contained within. Conditional formatting, I would personally recommend to use hex colors specifically with the hash in front of it. The pound symbol in front of there, because without it, it will not actually work in Power BI. So it needs the full hex code string with the hash that's going to be in there for that. Selected value is one of my favorites to return blank automatically without having to specify that. Technically, that came with the what if scenarios initially, but I think it's very versatile to use, especially when you're doing titles and other stuff. And when possible, filtering measures and totals. So the visual level filter measures can remove the total row from tables and matrices. So you can use the has when value is in scope to ensure that totals are handled correctly, because sometimes there can be a bit of performance creep and a huge performance hit if you're applying a visual level filter on a table with subtotals. And a nice little cheat sheet here at the end to wrap things up. So dynamic titles return a text string used in title conditional formatting, and an example would be sales by region with the month and year. Conditional formatting will often return a hex code is the result of the logic used for background and font color rules or anything else that has color changes. Examples would be red, yellow, or green statuses. SVG measures will have a string of code that returns essentially an SVG URL that renders live inside of the report, used often in matrix or table visuals or the HTML visual, and really good for like inline bullets, sparklines, or any other visual accompaniments inside of a table visual. Filtering measures, things that are used at the visual level filter level in the filter pane, often set to return true or false, used, as I said, in the visual level filter. And then examples would be like a top end threshold filtering, things that you would add to visuals or slicers. Display strings are more of the simple ones that would often be like a number and a percentage, as you see over here. And then there's the longer tooltip ones, which start to include things like the carriage returns, line breaks, and or maybe used for printed readability in the alt text options as well for accessibility. Overall, hopefully this gives you a nice clean idea of the types of ways that you can leverage DAX to enhance your report, but also why you'd want to keep these in the report layer rather than the semantic model layer. But hopefully it's been useful for you. As always, comments and suggestions, thoughts for future videos down in the comments down below. Check out some of my related content here in the upper left. And as always, liking, commenting, and subscribing will continue to help this channel grow organically. And with that being said, I will see you all in my next video.